Central Oregon, I'm Carrie Stewart, and welcome to my window from one of the most artistic spaces in all of Bend, the Workhouse. Housed just behind the Sparrow Bakery, the Workhouse is home to over 40 artists, including one woman in our first story who took her love for coffee and beer and made yet another use for both.
Every artist has a niche, and Karen Eland's couldn't be a better fit for Central Oregon.
I mean, I just did it as sort of a joke. The first several paintings, like I would do Mona Lisa and all these famous ones, almost like tongue-in-cheek, like ha ha ha, you know, now she's having coffee. And people's response surprised me, and then it just kind of kept on rolling. And yeah, I never would have dreamed it would go anywhere, really.
In 1997, Karen dropped her watercolors, and get this, she picked up some coffee and some beer.
In '97, I was in a coffee shop painting a watercolor, and I was kind of bored and just kept staring at my coffee and thinking it was a pretty color, and why wouldn't it work? And I tried it out, and it worked. Kind of never looked back.
Karen's love affair with art started in the 2nd grade.
We had learned how to paint portraits in art class, and I remember I really enjoyed it, and then they picked mine to go up in the hall, and I was just kind of like, whoa, maybe I can do this. Years
after that, that moment helped guide her through a tough decision.
I used to take ice skating lessons, and when I was 15, my mom was like, you really like art, I think you could go farther with that if you don't want to compete skating-wise. Maybe you could take art class instead, and I did, and I'm so glad, because that class is probably the only real training I've had, and it really launched me into, I mean, what I'm still doing today. Some people really, really try and never get to really do what they love, and I just wake up being like, I can't believe I get to do this. I'm really thankful.
Her gift has opened doors all over the world. Last year, she went to London to paint this.
A company called Cobra Beer. They make a beer that's supposed to go with Indian food, and they had me paint with their beer plus curry spices for kind of the Queen's Jubilee year, and they got me to come paint live for whoever was walking by, and kind of an ad for them, and it was really fun, and I loved London more than I thought I would.
Later, Dubai called, and she flew there to paint at a Middle East coffee and tea convention. And in 2 Seattle coffee houses, Karen's artwork covers the walls. The entire project took her almost an entire year to complete.
They had me do the history of their shop, and one of them was like a 4x8 foot panel of a panorama of their shop with all the people and lighting, and I don't know, when I was done with that, I was like, it looks like their shop. I don't know, it conveyed the atmosphere that they had, and I was really happy with it.
While she's painted tons of originals, what Karen really likes to do is recreate the classics. There is one foolproof way to tell them apart, but you have to look close.
I think one of these dancers back here might be drinking a coffee. I was going to put it in her hand, but yeah, I think one of these, she might be like,
Coming up after the break, we meet the coffee painter. My window from the Workhouse. We'll be right back. Welcome back to my window from the Workhouse, and welcome coffee painter Karen Eland.
Hi.
I love your story. It's really, it's kind of quintessential Bend too, coffee and beer, and all of a sudden you're making beautiful art. But this really started at, you kind of had, as we saw in the story, kind of this change in your life where you went from skating, ice skating, wasn't it, right?
Yeah.
To like, yeah, I think I might want to be an artist.
Yeah, and it was kind of foreshadowed, I guess, all the way back in 3rd grade when it was dress up what you want to be today, and when all I had was sort of an artist-looking costume, so that's what I chose, and that's what I ended up being. So, but yeah, ice skating, there was not going to be a future for me, and that I was not even very good. And my mom suggested moving on to art, and I'm really thankful that she did.
Yeah, no kidding. Where are you from? What's your background? Did you go to college too for it, or no?
No, actually, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I grew up there, and there was an art class at one of the art stores that my mom recommended me take about portraits and watercolor, and that's about the only training that I've had, really.
And so once you decided that you wanted to do this as a career, it kind of took off. And now you're being, as we saw in this story, you were asked to go to London at one point to paint for this, was it a brewery?
It was Cobra Beer. It's one of the bigger brands there.
Good name, by the way.
Yeah, and it's meant to go with Indian food. So they're doing a campaign where I could paint with beer and curry spices and kind of do like a live ad for them.
Oh, I love it. So, but post this story, you're now being asked to go to other places of the world.
Yes. In February, I went to Croatia, courtesy of their chocolate and coffee festival. And it was just a huge event, way bigger than I thought. And
what did you think it was going to be? I mean, how did they even find you?
They found me online somehow, I guess, just my website or something, and said, would you be interested in coming? And sure, I'll travel anywhere, you know? So they put me up in this beautiful hotel in this beautiful old city and had the event at 100,000 people came through.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I was just blown away because I've been to other events and it's just, you know, a couple hundred people or something. So, and then after that, I got to tour the country and meet a lot of great people. It was super fun.
What was this festival all about? Was it just doing the art on site?
That's what I was doing along with this world record mosaic artist from Albania. We were the guest artists, so he was using coffee beans and I was painting with coffee and chocolate. And then the whole rest of the event was chocolate makers. They made shoes and tools and all this stuff out of chocolate. And then there was a lot of coffee booths where you could go try their coffee and that type of thing.
Well, everything that you've done has seemed to be experimental. I mean, you started doing coffee art because you were looking at your coffee one day in a coffee shop going, ooh, that's a pretty color.
Yeah.
What is it? Has this been, I mean, are you surprised that people are taking such a liking to it?
Yeah, I mean, I never, you know, it was just more just to do for fun, and the response was more than I thought. You know, people just, oh my gosh, you know, or a lot of times they'll look at it and just be like thinking, why is that brown? It's kind of boring. And then, oh, it's painted out of that, you know, and it's just fun to see their face light up. And I never dreamed it would take me traveling or full-time business or anything.
So this weekend, with the anniversary coming up here at Workhouse in this space, 2-year anniversary this weekend, come down on Saturday. What will you be doing there? Because I know that this is, if you haven't been down to the Workhouse, this is artist studios within this whole place. So there's, is it 8 artists, 10 artists?
At least eight of us.
Yeah, in each studios. There's probably 40 represented in this whole
more
place.
than that even.
Yeah. But in each studio, and they'll be active this weekend, which will be fantastic. But what will you be doing? What will you be showcasing?
Mine, if you come.
You have beer and coffee. You're going to get all of Ben. It's going to huddle over there.
Well, hopefully you will try your own hand at painting with these substances. I'm going to do kind of a paint by numbers. I've got it drawn out to be a scene of Sparks Lake and different plates with the different, you know, number 1 is this plate. And you can dunk your brush in there and help me paint a painting. So maybe have another piece of paper that's if you just want to do your own thing. But
have you moved on to other foods? Do you look at mustard and be like, oh, maybe I should try some Grey Poupon?
It does change my view of edible things. Cause I've tried wine. It works nicely if you like purple. Yeah. A lot of fruit juices I've tried. Tea. Let's see what else. Rum. I've done some rum painting for Oregon Spirit Distillers. And just, anything can work. Yeah.
What's next for you?
Oh, I'm doing a large mural for a coffee shop, or it's actually a French bakery restaurant coffee shop in Portland called La Provence, and they're opening a new location. There'll be like a
that is a big bakery,
20-foot wide mural there, and then another one in the corner. So that's my next big project. Yeah. Well,
I don't know if Sparrow has one of your paintings, but I guess they can just come over since they're across the parking lot. Another French bakery. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really beautiful stuff. Where can people? If they don't come down to the Workhouse to buy, that's where you can actually see your works of art. Where else? You can buy them around town and also on your website?
You can definitely get them on my website, Etsy shops. I have a couple, beer painter and a coffee one, and that'd probably be the best place.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Really nice work. Come down and see him this weekend, 6 to 8 for the anniversary. 2nd year at the Workhouse. Great stuff. Really nice. All right, my window from the Workhouse. We'll be right back.